W-T-L.
Capitalism is the only way, Leslie. It moves our country forward. It's what makes America great, and England okay, and France terrible.
W-T-L.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
And you know who we got back in studio?
Yeah.
Travis Justice.
Travis Justice.
Now, Travis, you have some interesting numbers here where Iowa might be doing some things, which you got a little bit of a head start on Nebraska here.
Yeah, we got a big head start, and I still say we because I grew up in Iowa. I'm a small farm kid out of Minden, Iowa, not
There you
Minden,
go.
Nebraska, but Minden. But Iowa got a 3 to 4 year head start.
Yes.
So I mean, now keep in mind the numbers I'm going to give you. Iowa's got 1 million more people than Nebraska, so you got to keep that in mind as I give you these numbers. But it's not necessarily the total handle I want you to focus on. It's going to be the retail, which is at the sports book, as opposed to what internet gambling is, because where Nebraska really screwed up. And I did a YouTube. I actually did if you go on the Doc Talk Sports YouTube channel, I did a thing on sports gambling, and the legislature and the unicameral is a mess, and they don't understand sound business. 2 crucial mistakes they made because of righteousness, and they want to be better than everybody, is not betting on Nebraska playing at home.
Right.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, really, what are you trying to accomplish there? It
It's
doesn't matter, okay? And I know people want to say, well, it's an addictive thing. There's a lot of things that are addictive.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Skittles.
Alcohol.
Exactly. But that was the big thing. So you can bet on Nebraska on the road, but you can't bet on them at home. Can't bet on Creighton at the CHI Center, but if they go to Washington, D.C., you can do that. The second biggest mistake that will be corrected, I think, over time is the outlawing of internet gambling applications on your phone to gamble.
Don't you feel like they just want control? Like they want to control this
They're
thing?
losing money.
No, I got it.
This is about dollars and cents. Now, full disclosure, my fascination with gambling started when I was hosting the afternoon show or morning show on Big Sports 590, which is now 590 ESPN. But this was way back in the early 2000s, and I developed a relationship with a good guy, and you should have him on your show, and I can set you up with him, Scott Spreitzer.
Yeah.
Scott Spreitzer grew up in Bellevue, Nebraska. Left for Bellevue left Bellevue for Vegas when he was 17 years old. He's been a professional handicapper since he was 17 years old. Okay, this is all he does. So I started really, and I was fascinated by his brain. He's a savant. He's a mathematical savant. I mean, he just knows a lot of stuff. I personally am not a huge gambler. I will place bets every now and then. I'm fascinated more about the analytics that goes into it. And I'm fascinated by the business aspect of it because I think people think a lot of money's rolling in. The numbers don't buy it. And as a matter of fact, 2 sports books have already gone out of business in Iowa. Harrah's lost $2 million last year. Lost $2 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's funny money in how that works because free bets are lost, so you can that welcome offer I talked to you can deduct that, but it's not like these books are just rolling in the cash like everybody thinks they are. So that's my fascination with this whole thing. Where I'm going to talk, they're going to lose money. I just pulled these numbers out for you guys because I knew I was coming down here today.
Yeah.
So in Iowa, the fiscal year is now over. The fiscal year ended on June at the end of June. In Iowa last year, the sports wagering handle was $2.2 billion. Billion.
With a B.
Billion.
With a B, okay? Now, people are going to go, oh, my God, that's such a huge number. And what's going to happen now is, I need to set everybody up for this. What's going to happen is the anti-gambling people in Nebraska are going to say, when the tax money starts coming in, they're going to say, $2.2 billion, and that's all we're getting. If you're listening to the show, you're not taxed on the handle. You're taxed on the net receipts, okay? So that's what drives the number down. So the net receipts for sports wagering in Iowa was $182 million. So think about it. $2.2 billion was bet. They only made $182 million.
Yeah.
Now, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, of course it is.
But the state of Iowa for fiscal year 2023 is getting $13 million.
But that's the whole thing with the point spread. They're trying to get a number that's going to even it out.
Yes.
Half the people are going to bet here, half the people are going to bet on the other side. They're going to take the rake.
Exactly. But I want people to know that these people are they're going to see the 2 point. And this happened just down in Kansas.
Yeah.
They gave the total sports handle and the taxes weren't what they thought. They're like, well, hold on, it's a false narrative. So just know when the anti-gambling people come at you, just know that it's not the total number, it's what the retail is. Okay? So here's what was bet in the fiscal year 2023 at the 3 Council Bluffs casinos. The internet handle at Ameristar was $121 million. The internet handle at Harrah's was $37 million. Their payout was $39. That's not a good. That's not,
Wow.
At the Horseshoe, the handle was $77 million. Now, and then if you throw in the South at Sioux City, at $17 million was the handle. So in fiscal year, listen, I grew up in Iowa.
Yep.
I love my people in Western Iowa. I know they're not placing bets. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's assume 50 to 75% of that
Nebraska.
is Nebraska money.
For sure.
For fiscal year 2023, that's $257,700,000 just in 4 casinos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That border the state of Nebraska.
I mean, we get it. We went to the Bud Crawford fight.
Yeah,
we
for
left
sure.
an hour early, and all of us and all of our friends, what did we do? We swing down to Ameristar.
That's what you got to do.
You know, placed our bets, won our bets.
Exactly.
You know,
Now, here's where I want to prove that Nebraska did it wrong.
Okay.
And when Iowa first started, you had to physically go to the book to sign up on the app, right?
Yeah.
They got rid of that almost instantly. They realized this is dumb.
Download it.
You just download. Well, you had to go open your account, deposit money, and it took them really like a month to go. That's stupid. Just
Just give it to them.
Just give it to them.
Yep.
Of that $2.2 billion.
Yep.
How much was bet on the internet as opposed to going to the sports book?
Well, it has to be over half.
77%.
$2 billion.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So all of it.
All of it.
All of it.
Oh my God.
All of it.
Wow.
So what Nebraska is losing out on,
Yeah.
people aren't going to drive to Lincoln to go to the sports book there. Well, Lincolnites might. You might.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're sitting in Omaha right now, if you're sitting in Ogallala, screw it. I'm going to drive to Colorado. I'm driving. It's just
I'm
easier.
just crossing the river. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're going to do an offshore thing, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's not pretend that that's not going on.
Listen, my buddy's a bookie. So
you go.
it's funny. He says people still like bookies for a reason.
Yeah.
And the truth is, this stuff is up and up. The reason when Iowa State got busted, and by the way, they did nothing wrong. They didn't bet on their own sport. They bet on March
the NBA, bet on March Madness, all that stuff.
They did nothing
NBA
wrong.
Finals.
There's nothing wrong with that.
we have time. I do want to get into that conversation.
We got time. We got time.
I can go all night. I can go 3 hours on this.
Let's
if you
do
want.
it.
But the reason they got busted is because this is regulated and they
on
have
the
checks and balances.
Yep, it's on the up and up.
The reason people still like a bookie and an offshore deal is because you don't have to pay till Tuesday, right? I mean, here you've got to put your money in, and you get paid immediately, but you got to pay up front.
Yeah.
And the old time bookies are still, well, I can float
me on
you,
Thursday.
pay me on Thursday or whatever that is. So, but when the total handle is $2.2 billion and $2 billion of it's done on the internet, if that doesn't send a message to the state of Nebraska, you have massively screwed up.
Yeah.
Then this state's messed up. It
Yeah.
really is. It's going to lose, because I think it's a plan to say gambling wasn't the windfall that you've ever had. Second thing I wanted to point out, and you'll find that I talk a lot, so just tell me to shut up, is the reason I'm fascinated by the analytics part of it is I believe sports betting is the safest bet to make. I really do.
Yeah.
We let people play Keno around here. Keno is the dumbest.
It's taking. That's just taking.
It's
Talk
the
about addictive.
worst
Talk
odds
about addictive.
ever.
Yeah.
Gambling, sports gambling, you can make the most educated guess around.
Listen to Scott Spritzer.
Yeah.
There's about at worst, you got a 50% chance of winning that.
Yes.
You know? And on top of Keno being one of the worst, so's the lottery.
Yeah.
That's just taking from people.
Yes.
Pull tabs, all that
pull
stuff.
tabs, yeah. So, like, how is that? Even, I mean, they look like regular betting machines to me. Slot machines to me in all these gas stations.
Every single bar in America. There's even one in Lynch, where we're from. There's 200 people, and we're saying that gambling's not legal, but there's 3 slot machines in the Lynch bar.
It's a game of skill.
So it's a game of skill.
But
no, it's not.
we got just a little bit of time here, and there's so many questions I do want to get into with you, Trav. But real quick, what's the why there? Like, why do you think some higher ups in the state of Nebraska are trying to go out of their way to show that sports betting isn't the big moneymaker that everyone's making it out to be?
Because they need to appease a certain group. Listen, Pat Lunger and her group, Gambling with a Good Life, put up a really good fight for 20-some years, okay? And I like Pat. She's a nice person, but she's anti-gambling. It's politics, and it's one to placate and say, well, we'll just have it in the casinos. Over time, you're either going to have to get rid of it because it's not going to be the windfall you thought, or you're going to have to adapt and go, everybody else is doing this. If we don't keep up, people are still going to cross the river to go to Iowa.
Doubt.
People are still going to cross the border to go to Colorado. It's just going to happen, all right? And so I think it's politics. I think the biggest political one was they're not betting on Nebraska at home or Creighton at home because they didn't want people to boo if they get the over. Guess what? They're still going to boo because they know what the over is.
They still do.
Yes.
They still do anyways.
Yes.
And it doesn't make sense to have you not be able to place bets on your team in your town.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. That's what everybody wants to do. That's why it's there. So I agree with you on that point 100%.
You're missing out on the 7 biggest betting days of the year.
The biggest betting days in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Right there.
That's all they want to do. Yeah, I want the over to hit on Northern Illinois because it's going to hit.
Here's the deal. This year, because you can bet in Lincoln right now, right? I'm going to ask my good friends at Betfred to monitor Nebraska bets at the Iowa casinos in Council Bluffs on home game days to see what the action is. Because I think it'd be interesting to see as compared to when they're on the road.
For sure.
Just to see what that difference is, to say all they did was head over, cross the bridge, and then head back down to Memorial Stadium to watch the game.
What it is. It's what it is.
We'll have to get you back.
After that, we'll need the rest of the story.
Well, let's take a quick minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is WTL.